Okay, we're back. We're going to continue to take a look at James Cameron's Terminator 2 Judgment Day. It was also written by William Wisher, too. Let's take a look at what they got. Scene 18, where in the, this is the description of the the state hospital. It's describing the state hospital. And what I like about this description, it says, about as inviting as KGB headquarters, which in 1984 is very appropriate. There is no more KGB now, but being that I'm from the 80s and you are probably too, that means a lot to you. It really speaks to you. That a place would remind you of KGB headquarters says a lot, which is really awesome. And I like things like that. As we go down, we're inside the hospital, 19. Here, James Cameron is introducing Sarah Connor. But he does it in bits and pieces. He shows you what the camera sees, what the audience sees. Yes, he uses camera direction, pan 2, wider, stuff like that. But if he didn't, if he took those things out, if he took out pan 2 and just said a bed frame leans upright against the wall, or wider, just say a woman in a tank top and hospital pants hangs from the top leg of the vertical bed frame. Still works. You're still telling a story. You're still giving the audience, or in this case the reader, bits and pieces, but not everything, only the things that are important, especially for this character. At the bottom of this little description, as we're revealing her slowly, it says, the inmate, face hidden, pulls up, dips, pulls up, like a machine, no change in rhyme. Like a machine, no change in rhyme. For fans of the movie, especially the first one, and reading the second movie, this is a nice little moment. Why? Well, because she fights against machines, and yet in a certain sense, after all this time, that is, after the first movie up to now, she has become, in a certain sense, a Terminator herself, a machine, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of cool. Let's shoot down to 21, and this is, I like the way this is written. Silberman's scrubbed and cheerful face at the cell window. His voice comes over the tiny speaker. Morning, Sarah. I like the juxtaposition of the emotion, whereas Sarah is, she's stone, she's hard, and Silberman is scrubbed and cheerful. Morning, Sarah. Even calls her by her first name. They're on that basis, which is a little condescending as well, And just with that little bit, just the way that he introduces Silberman to her, you can tell a little bit about their relationship, which is kind of cool. Sarah Connor is not the same woman we remember from last time. He's talking about the first movie. Her eyes peer out through a wild tangle of hair like those of a cornered animal. Defiant and intense, but skittering around looking for escape at the same time, fight or flight. Down one cheek is a long scar from just below the eye to her upper lip. Her voice is a low, chilling monotone. Notice no scar. Interesting. I would love to know how James Cameron would have hinted to the audience that she got that scar. Would it have been from the Terminator? I don't think it's from the Terminator. So I would wonder where she had gotten it. Maybe that's why she took it out. I know that when we see John Connor as a man, as a 45-year-old man, one side of his face is all scarred. It says it in here when you read this version. And he's also got an eye patch on. He's lost one eye, too. But, so maybe not both of them, maybe just one of them. And John Connor is probably more appropriate to have that kind of facial injury. So, moving on, 22. Here's another parenthetical. Fine, Sarah. He switches off, speaks to the interns. She stabbed me in the kneecap with a screwdriver a few weeks ago. Sarah watches them talking about her through the glass, but can't hear them. She feels like a lab animal. The interns look in at her through the glass as Silverman talks. With her face drawn, eyes haggard, and hair wild, she looks like she belongs where she is. Very nice, very nice. The parenthetical, talking about the parenthetical, I thought what was interesting about the parenthetical is, again, he's very generous with his parentheticals. This is 2 lines. This is almost an action description. I mean, he switches off, speaks to the interns. But is it okay in this case to have it as a parenthetical rather than changing it to action description? Yes and no. The jury is still out in my mind on that one. I don't know. I mean, of course, he can do whatever he wants, but for a spec script, for you, if you are a spec writer and you're trying to get your work looked at, will this annoy a reader? Will this be a little too far out of bounds? I don't know. Good question. But the stuff after it is really good. When they're describing her, she feels like a lab animal. That's really good. She looks like she belongs where she is. This is good stuff. It's good stuff on the paper. It entreats the reader to move with him, to follow him, and to see this character very differently than how she was introduced in the first movie, if you remember. And you should read that script. You should read the first one too. Moving on. Okay, that's it for today, folks. I hope that you join me next time as we continue to take a look at James Cameron's script, Terminator 2: Judgment